Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year, you guys, and welcome to another great episode of the Unfiltered Truth. I'm your host, Phil Jones. Phil Robinson with the mug, all warm and toasty. And here with us today, we are joined by NFL analyst Lance Goodman. How are you doing, man? It's been a long time.
Man, I don't want to hear from you.
I know you're still mad about the upset I pulled on you. You know, it's okay. You know, I tend to do this a lot. You know,
you should just know that this is why you should trust our expertise. It's right there, live in front of you. The proof is in the pudding.
All right. Well, no, on all seriousness, happy New Year's to you guys and everybody. Pretty sure a lot of people, most people out there don't know we have a fantasy football league, and we just finished our first round. So Phil knocked me off. So this guy, great friend of mine, but right now, not one of the guys on the top of my to-do list right now. Let's put it that way.
You never get between a Phil and his money, Lance. That's a bad place for you to be.
I'm just saying, you know, when it comes down to the end, because look, it was a couple games I was just like, man, I should have had this. I should have had this win. But you know what? It was all good. I was like, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to do the same thing and just pull a whole bunch of upsets.
I got you, man. Well, best of luck. You know, I'm not a sore loser. And, you know, by far, we had the best fantasy football leagues over at NFLexporter.com, our Facebook page. This was our 7th annual year. So shout out to everybody who competed in the 7th annual NFL Exporter Facebook leagues, including both Phils here. It was their first year in the league. So both guys did a great job, and best of luck. Definitely, man. You know, you knocked me off. Take it all the way now. Don't disappoint me. Bring the goal home.
Oh, you already know, man. I had to make some adjustments on the lineup. Hopefully today things work out.
That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen to be the same lineup that I was talking to you about the other night, would it?
Oh, nonsense. No. The only thing that's hurting me is not having Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's hurting everybody who has Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and that's you know what makes our leagues the best. You know, you get the best fantasy football advice right on NFLexporter.com. The Twitter handle is at NFLexporter. And so that's what makes the league so competitive, because I'm competing along with other owners, and everybody is getting the same great information. So had a banner year, and let's talk about your guys now. You know, it's been a minute. It's late in the season where the Raiders, you know, still have a chance. They did their normal start off 5-2, 5-3, and then just kind of crumble in the middle of the season, but got a couple wins here the last week. So big game today. These guys definitely are jumbled in with a bunch of 7-7, 8-7, you know, 7-8, 8-7 type teams. So let's talk Raiders. Let's talk Colts. It's a big one today.
Huge, colossal.
A lot is on the line today. All I can say is this. It's not, we're just going to come out here and just keep it basic. No, you got to be aggressive today on both ends, from the O-line, from the offense to the defense. We can't settle for any of these 3 and outs, dude. That is the one thing that I've been noticing with the Raiders. Oh, open and drive here. We're going to settle for this, you know, but, you know, we can rely more on the defense. We can't put this on our defense today, because you have to deal with one person that's literally going to end up being possibly offensive player of the year, probably, you know, an MVP, Jonathan Taylor. We have a major battle up front today.
Yeah, that's where it starts in the trenches. You know, Indianapolis, one of the most physical teams in the NFL, very underrated on the defensive side of the football. Not too many people know many players on that Indianapolis defense outside of Darius Leonard. But DeForest Buckner has continued to be a steady force, one of the best pickups last year for Indianapolis to help solidify that front line. And then Xavier Rhodes, you know, certainly lost a step. but certainly still a very instinctive player. Definitely great in press coverage. And then Kenny Moore is really the unsung hero of that Indianapolis defense, leading all defensive backs in tackles this year. Is really smart, instinctive player in coverage. So, defensively for Indianapolis, for the Raiders, that's a tough matchup there. But you hit on it. Stopping Jonathan Taylor is the name of the game, and not too many teams have been able to do so. I started off with that Indianapolis defense because they are the ones who allow for Jonathan Taylor to continue to get fed throughout the course of the game. Indianapolis rarely gets more than 7 to 10 points behind, which in today's NFL, the majority of teams, kind of go pass happy.
Yeah.
So that Raiders defense, as much as you don't want to put it on them, Phil, they have to show up today and at least make Carson Wentz make some plays, because that's the one thing that I've seen is that Indianapolis, when Carson Wentz gets in passing situations, he can be very erratic. He can be very careless with the football.
Mm-hmm.
And each week, even last week, there are some interceptions that could have been, there are some plays that should have been interceptions that players just dropped. So, they definitely had their work cut out today against Jonathan Taylor and the top rushing attack in the NFL. You guys are on the Raider side, the Raider experts. Talk to me. What's the game plan? What players really need to step up? I know Max Crosby has definitely been a monster. One of the guys up there on those front lines who brings that adrenaline, who brings that intensity every week. So I know he's going to bring it. But outside of him, especially in that front four, those linebackers, what players need to step up for the Raiders, and who should we be looking out for to have an impactful day?
Alex Leatherwood. Alex Leatherwood is going to have the game of his life, because DeForest Buckner is going to be lining up on him all day long. And the rookie, it's about time that he shows up and he shows why he was a 17th pick in the draft, because if he gets his lunch eaten today, everything just stops. DeForest Buckner will shut this team down if he starts getting off, and he exposes Andre James and Alex Leatherwood together or individually. That's the number one thing that's going to have to who's got to be good, because if Leatherwood is bad, you could put Illuminor in there, but he went against him. No, he was with the Patriots. Excuse me. Never mind. That you really don't have a replacement for that, and that's one particular position that can bring this thing to a halt real fast. Derek obviously is going to have to eliminate the mistakes. Now, he doesn't have to go out here and light up the scoreboard, although I wish that he would. He doesn't have to go over here and throw for 500 yards, although once again, I wish that he would. But what he cannot do is put the ball on the ground or give it to somebody else.
Exactly.
They do not have any room to make mistakes in this particular game, and the defense is not going to hold up against a short field. Your wide receivers are going to have to hang on to everything. I would say that the most important piece to this particular game is going to be Deshaun Jackson. He's going to have to get open deep. He's going to have to hang on to the football and continue to put stress on this Indianapolis defense, because if Carr goes back to the short game, this is not going to work.
Yeah, and I got people in the comment section asking, like, is Waller going to be playing? Waller is out.
He didn't make the trip.
Did not make the trip. Him and Carl Nassib are out. They're still currently on the COVID list. But yeah, Phil, you hit the marker right there. But the one thing, it's not just Deshaun Jackson I got to see step up today. We saw last week something we haven't seen all season. Josh Jacobs having a 100-yard game.
And almost 2 seasons.
We need a repeat.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Raiders offense today, and that will be a huge push. I'm not sure if his efforts were due to a matchup. I will say over the last couple weeks, I noticed a couple weeks ago, I think that was Thanksgiving, so we're talking about a month ago, but when they upset Dallas on the road, that was the freshest that I had seen Josh Jacobs look all year. We know that the guy who unfortunately has battled a lot of injuries, and that was certainly the case the first part of the year. But over the last month, it's good to see him with some more bounce in his step, some more explosion. And then also, once the Raiders lost once the Raiders lost Kenyon Drake, then obviously that allowed for Jacobs to get that much more to workload. I like Peyton Barber still being a little bit more of a hammer type runner that you guys can mix in. But I think the thing that would make this special for the Raiders today, if they're able to win this game, it's going to take a complete team effort, is what you guys have been talking about. There are going to be a lot of unsung heroes, and that happens every week in the NFL. Obviously the quarterbacks, the skill position guys, the defensive players who are well known across the NFL, they get a lot of the praise and glory, but there's always a fullback. There's always, an offensive lineman who had to step in for a week. There's always, somebody who comes in and makes things happen. And so I think all the way down the line, from head to toe, Derek Carr certainly has to keep things clean. He cannot turn the football over on his own watch. Obviously, if he gets a strip sack or there's some type of tip ball or something like that. So as long as Derek Carr can keep it clean, I do think the Raiders do need to have some type of running game today. You don't want to get completely one-dimensional.
No, definitely.
Because that's where mistakes start kind of taking place. And then, I think this is going to be the matchup. So not only Deshaun Jackson, who we know can stretch the football field, Hunter Renfrow has just been a diamond in the rough. I think every team, we can kind of see the value of a slot receiver. A guy who, especially on third and short situations, anything under 5 yards, we know that they have that comfort and security blanket there. A big loss, Darren Waller. It's not just his ability and what he can do on the football field, but he attracts a lot of attention. He attracts a lot of coverage, especially in the red zone on third down, to open things up for other players. Yeah. But Foster Monroe, we know that he's got some talent, so we like to see him have some timely catches. And then Zay Jones, Brian Edwards. So this, to me, is going to be a team and collective effort. I'm not sure there's going to be one guy in particular who's going to win or lose this game. But Derek Carr, being the longest tenured Raider on this team, even though he didn't play in that game due to injury, he's really the only Raider left on this team. And you guys can mistake me if I'm wrong. The last time the Raiders made the playoffs, which was Derek Carr's MVP caliber season, and unfortunately he got hurt late in the season and couldn't play in that playoff game. But he's the only guy here on the roster who really remembers what it feels like to have an opportunity to get in the playoffs and success. So as a team captain, I really expect for him to step up and have a big day.
Absolutely. And again, this game right here, it has a lot of meaning. This game is really the Raiders Super Bowl here. If you want to get into the playoffs, because I'm going to say this, if they screw the pooch here, I can't see them getting in. Everybody is back. They got their players, their top skill players on both sides of the field for a lot of teams today. And Raiders have to win out. It can't be we lose today and then expect to try to win next week against the Chargers. You have to win against the Colts. You have to win against the Chargers. You put yourself in this predicament where you had games that were supposed to be won, but you fumbled the bag.
And personally, I have an issue with looking at this and thinking that you should be able to get into the playoffs if you don't win football games. The Raiders are not good enough, don't have a cushion enough to be thinking that they can lose this close to the playoffs going in and everything is going to be okay. I'm not one of these people who like to look at it and say, oh, well, damn, they're at full strength. Oh, I mean, we needed to have XYZ go down. We needed this guy to be. I don't like that. That's not winning football talk to me. You should be beating teams at full strength heading into the playoffs. Otherwise, you don't belong. It's plain and simple. If you go out there and you got to win a game based on who gets to play and who doesn't, you're not prepared to win. They are a good enough football team to beat the Indianapolis Colts if they block, tackle, and execute. If they don't do those three things in conjunction and complement with each other, they won't win. It's just that simple. They are a good enough football team. They have the pieces to do it. Hopefully they have the game plan that works. I like what I've seen out of the running game. You said Josh Jacobs looked freshest to you as the Cowboys game. I'd argue he never looked better than he did last week. That's the best that I've seen him look in probably about 2 years. He looked great. I mean, I was like, did he really hit 100 already? But then I had to go back. I was like, he's hitting them 6-7 yards every time he touches the football. Yeah, you'll get there quick doing it like that. They just have to be able to get to a point where they can put everything together, and they've only done that once all year. And even then, in that particular game, they probably held it together for about 50 minutes instead of 60. They are going to need to play 60 minutes of football against the Indianapolis Colts to win today. And they better be able to have that level of focus, because they're not just doing it for their playoff implications. Phil didn't say anything about it, but I will. They are going out today carrying the legacy, the torch of the Raiders, and the legacy of John Madden. And we can all say what we want to say about professionalism and all of this, but if they go out and don't win this football game, there are going to be a lot of unhappy people in the organization and outside of it.
They might burn some shit down. I'm just going to be real. If they don't win today, everybody, look, I hadn't said it. I was going to let you say, I don't want to take all the good shit. If you don't win this for John Madden, if you don't win this for yourself, it's going to be ugly today. I mean, y'all see how Dallas fans and Washington fans, how Philly fans have gotten angry and had some rage moments. Y'all have yet to see how Raider Nation gets pissed.
Internet meltdown.
I mean, like, we talking about there's probably about at least 40 or 50 of them that had a full-fledged on heart attack.
Well, with that being said, I think the guys in the locker room, understand that. I believe it's a point of emphasis that the coaching staff and management and everybody in that organization and building has harped on all week. So at least from an effort standpoint, an intensity standpoint, a pride standpoint, today that should not be an issue. And so, it's specifically we'll get down to X's and O's. And, I think we've done a great job hitting on the points of emphasis, again, on the offensive side of the football, especially on the road. And it's going to be tough. Indianapolis is looking to, with the win, they'll sew up their playoff spot in the AFC. And so you're coming in against a team who's very confident. If you look at the teams that Indianapolis has beat, last week at Arizona, and that was without Quentin Nelson, that was without Gary Leonard, knocking off the New England Patriots in a dominant type fashion.
Exactly.
This is a team that went out to Buffalo and manhandled, the Bills on the road. So this is a team playing with a lot of confidence right now. Carson Wentz being back in the lineup. And again, to me, that's the key. When you look to attack this Colts offense, I know it's difficult to dedicate too many men in the box because we've seen it in real life with Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, some of these running backs who can take it the distance, making one guy missing the hole, and they're going to take it to the house. We see that, for our gamers here. You see that on Madden football. Some of your best rushing attacks, I still line up in goal line. A lot of times in my running formations, just to be able to pull guys up to the line, knowing that if I can set my blocks up and make a guy miss,
you may run a long time
green out in front of you. So they have to be able to limit Jonathan Taylor. He's too good of a pack to stop.
The one thing that caught me, Lance. Last week's game did not have the entire O-line except the right tackle. Except the starting right tackle. And they were able to maintain, Jonathan Taylor was able to maintain 100 yards rushing. He didn't get a touchdown, but 100-plus yards rushing with a backup line. So that should tell you right off the bat, you're going to have to throw a leg out there, throw a body out there to slow him down, to stop him. You cannot take him for granted at the beginning of this game or towards the end of this game. If you're gonna have to play ugly, play a little ugly. Shit, I don't care. You're gonna have to stop him. You cannot let him get 100 yards rushing. The Colts are 9-0 when he rushes for 100 yards. I've been saying this since last week. If you stop him from getting 100 yards, they're 0-6.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, if Derek Carr gets 300 yards, the Raiders are 6-0, bro.
Well, technically, hold on. Derek Carr didn't have to throw the last 2 games. He didn't have to throw for 300 yards. So that means nothing. It's obsolete.
But when he, but if we got
to obsolete.
If we got to keep Jonathan Taylor under 100, we got to get Derek Carr over 3.
We don't need to. We don't need to because he won a game without having to get 300 yards.
Look, Lance, he's really arguing against Derek Carr getting 300 yards. You see this? You see this? I know I'm not the only person that's seen this. You see right here live. Look at this man at 20 minutes arguing against his own quarterback getting 300 yards. Ain't that a bitch?
He don't need to.
Ain't that a bitch?
He don't need to.
Ain't that a bitch?
You know I prefer to get touchdown.
Get in game day mood.
I am in game day mood.
Get in game day mood.
I am.
Your quarterback over 300 yards is a win.
I want
in game day mood.
I want touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I'll just say this. Jonathan Taylor last week, those 108 yards. I mean, to me, that's a fair enough number that you should still be able to win that game. He did not get in the end zone. And those 108 yards came on 27 carries. So it wasn't like he was averaging a huge amount of yards per carry. Again, he's too elusive and too good of a running back. Let's not forget, this was the coming out of college. This was the best running back in college football for 2 to 3 years running straight. This guy has track speed when he gets in the open field, and you see his physique. I mean, this guy is brick solid. And so to me, if you can keep him at 27 carries for 108 yards, that's a win because those 27 carries means ball control. That's what Indianapolis likes to do. And that's what I was saying about their defense. They keep the games close enough to allow for Jonathan Taylor to get 27 carries and allow for Indianapolis to control the clock. So for me, again, the keys today defensively for the Raiders, try to limit and contain Jonathan Taylor. That's the name of the game. We know the Dalvin Cooks of the world, the Derrick Henrys. This year we're talking about Jonathan Taylor. There's really no stopping these guys. So you're going to sell out to contain him. And then your best shot is putting it in Carson Wentz's hands. When he throws the football enough times, something bad eventually is going to happen. And then on the offensive side of the football for the Raiders, again, clean game from Derek Carr. I think they need to be in the mindset of controlling that clock on themselves. Again, if you can get that run game going with Josh Jacobs, that's certainly something to build on. And then you just need timely plays. And I think getting points on each possession is something as well. So Dan Carlson has been one of the best kickers in the NFL this year. We need him on his A game and special teams. You have to watch the Indianapolis coach. Frank Reich has been around the NFL for 3+ decades now. And so he's a guy who's very crafty. You don't hear a lot coming out of that Indianapolis organization in terms of noise and confidence and boisterous and things of that nature. But Frank Reich, a very confident coach, will pull a special teams trick play, will figure out a way to fake a punt. He's a guy who's very, very crafty. So this has to be a complete game for the Raiders today. It's going to take an intense amount of focus. This game is not outdoors, but we know in past years when the Raiders have had to travel to the East Coast or the Midwest, they have not particularly fared well. That game that Phil was talking about, they dropped earlier this year, which was at least on paper a winnable game, was at the New York Giants, a trip across to the East Coast. And they weren't able to pull it off. And so I'm really excited. I think this is a game that the Raiders can win. It's going to be difficult, but like you said, across the board, whether it's NFL or fantasy football, every single team right now, the playoffs have already begun. I mean, outside if you're Kansas City and a couple teams where you have your playoff spot already in tow, for the rest of the teams, it's win or go home. And so I'm really excited to see this ball game. I think it's a game that the Raiders can win. I give the Colts the edge because they're at home and have played a little bit more consistent brand of football. But I'm very excited, and I'm in the mindset and belief that if the Raiders can win this game, this is some momentum that they can carry over into next week, being back at home to essentially close out with a win against the Chargers and have an opportunity to stamp a meal ticket into the playoffs.
I agree with you on that one right there. Update. If you haven't seen it, Jonathan Hankins is out for today's game. Interior wise, they're going to need to step up. We talked about the front four. Yes, Max. One thing about Max, I need him to go above and beyond when it comes down to him sealing off the run on the outside. That's one of the things I've noticed he'll look good one week and then have some struggles that week. But he's going to have to be, if he wants to be a complete edge rusher, he's got to get better at stopping the run.
He's going to have a lot of opportunities.
Say it again.
I said he's going to have a lot of opportunity this week. Indianapolis runs a lot of zone, a lot of outside zone, and a lot of stretch plays. Yes. And they're going to be coming at him. They're going to be coming directly at this entire defensive line.
Now, I'm going to tell you this about them with Jonathan Taylor. He will run up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So not having big man Hankins there, we're going to need Darius Philon. You're going to need Solomon Thomas. They're going to have to really step up. Solomon Thomas is going to have to really show why I'm a better D tackle than where I'm at versus at DN. He's going to have to really show everybody that I'm a complete D tackle now, that I can also be there for the pass rush and I can also be there for run support. So it's really, in this game today, it's really all hands on deck. And yeah,
that was actually
as
great.
Much as people have wanted to bash him and, drag him through the mud, you're going to need Cleveland Farrell today.
Big time, because Max is not going to be good at defense at the 5 technique in this game. That's not going to be what you want to see. I see that I think looking back at what they did last week to see how they slowed down the Denver's rushing attack, they switched to a lot of 3-4. And if they go back to that, you're going to see they're going to need to do something interesting with Max, because I don't like him lined up against this guard and tackle combination on either side.
Nah. And again,
Cleveland Farrell, however, is a player that could thrive in this particular situation, if nothing else, but by holding his ground.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you guys for having me on to the show. I'd love to come back post game and talk with you guys about the outcome, see how the keys to victories and these matchups and things of that nature that we're talking about, how everything played out. You guys know I got about 58 minutes, you might as well say 45 minutes to kick off. So obviously my social media and things of that nature are ringing off the hook with last minute fantasy football questions. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everybody, myself included, is where they need to be. But I appreciate you gentlemen so much for having me on the show. You guys do a great job. As always, another banner year for you guys. And like I said, thank you very much. And I'll be, available later this evening or tomorrow. But it'd be great, especially if the Raiders can go out and get the dub today. That would be outstanding.
Nah, absolutely, man. Hey, Lance, appreciate you joining us today, man.
It was fun.
All right. Phil and Phil, my favorite two Phils, man. Salute you guys. Have a good one.
All right, man.
Okay.
Lance Goodman, always delivering the goods as always.
NFL exporter, coming out spitting them straight facts. Prez, you ain't shit. I just want you to know that. I seen what you put in there.
What'd he say?
Said that man looked like Dame Lillard's. Had Dame Lillard was out here raining from the logo all show long.
Oh, speaking of Dame Lillard, did you see what he put out on Twitter?
Yes, I did actually. As a matter of fact, happened to put out your boy, Russell Wilson and that black number 3.
Clean, silk, magnificent,
in all his excellence, curls flowing. But yeah, this particular game, they got to execute. I've said it all year long, and I'll continue to say it. They can beat anybody when they're on top of their game. They can lose to anybody when they're not. You know, you're going to have to. It's an all hands on deck situation, which is what it should have been, and what going forward it's going to have to be. They're going to have to get contributions from everyone, backups, starters. Your guards are gonna be the biggest piece of this game. For everything that we said that the Raiders need to do on offense, all starts with how they get Indianapolis's front blocked. If they can exert their will and expose their dominance on this defensive line, then this will be a game that they win. But DeForest Buckner is not going to make it easy. Who are their edges right now?
Hold up, let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn and talk, but they are going to DeForest Buckner is going to be a problem in this game because he attacks what has been the most resurgent part of this line, which is the interior. The interior of this offensive line has been carrying the team for a few weeks now, real quietly at that. How many TDs does Derek Carr need? At least 3. Or him and I'll say him and Josh Jacobs need to split 5. Or 4 to 5 is what they need to split. I don't care how they get it. I just know that there needs to be 4-5 between the two of them, or the defense needs to get one. Do you see us score more than 17 points, Timothy? Honestly, probably not, but they got to figure out a way to dig deep and make some shit happen. I mean,
they got Quiddy Payne, they got Aquadin.
Yeah, I like Quiddy Pay. I like Colt Miller in that matchup with Quiddy Pay. Brandon Parker and Muhammad is going to be the matchup to keep an eye on. And who's their weak strong side linebacker? The Sam.
Zaire Franklin.
Yeah, he's not a huge pass threat rush, but he makes an effort.
You know, that's the thing. Like, here's the thing with the Colts defense. I mean, when you look at it on paper, they don't look as much as a threat, but it's how they're being utilized, how they use the stunts, how they use the disguises. That's what keeps the O-line wondering, oh shit, which way they're coming. It's going to keep Derek Carr. Derek Carr is going to have to really look. He cannot be locked in on one target. He's going to have to look for his other options. So if you're locked in looking at Hunter, you got to be like, okay, who's near Hunter on this route? Okay, wait. I see Brian. He's opening up. Okay. Because what they're going to end up doing and what we've seen all year, it looks like you had this one target running downfield wide open, but you had the safety coming over and cutting it off. They're running that combo coverage.
Right.
So,
and that more than anything gives Derek fits.
It's been one of the things that's been beaten up on Derek all year.
Mm-hmm. That when you show it's one of his Achilles heels, and they do it almost as well as Kansas City does. And what that is that they'll show him one thing pre-snap and then move out of it at the end. And while he's too busy staring down his wide receivers, he's not looking to see where the safeties are going, where the safety is going, or that's what he'll say at the end of it. But when you watch the tape, he didn't look at anybody. He was watching the route.
Brandon Faison will be starting on the opposite side.
Is Pittman playing?
Yeah.
I'm looking up some of Indianapolis's D stats right now.
Yeah. Damn, I say his name. But yeah, they basically have everybody back except Sendeo.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say is the Raiders will actually, so for all of the hubbub we've heard about Matt Eberflus, we'll get an opportunity to see his defense up close.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, so Darius Leonard blitzes has been sent on 35 blitzes. Bobby Okereke is on 34.
Yeah.
Kari Willis, EJ Speed. So the blitzes are coming up from up the middle a lot. Looks like the linebackers are the group to attack. Oh, wow. Yeah, Bobby, number 58, Bobby Okereke and Darius Leonard are giving up or have been targeted. What is that? 120 times? Yeah, 120 times and given up 88 completions.
Yeah.
And how many? Said Lance was saying Kenny Moore has been the unsung hero, and between he and actually he has. I think he's the most targeted defender. Yeah, most targeted defender. 105 targets, allowed 68 completions. 635 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not worrying about the numbers right now. The thing I'm worried about is who's going to step up and who's going to get the job done.
Quick question. TJ Carey, is he still out?
No, he is active. Everybody that was basically on that COVID list is back.
All right.
So the Raiders.
I've been trying to tell this peasant he won't listen. I've been trying to tell him.
I'm the only motherfucker saying that shit.
Listen, peasant, fix your background. You're big time now. You're a star, kid. Act like it. This is grassroots right here. Right, grassroots. This man is of the people and wants you to know that he's just over here doing it out of the den in the home. Just a quaint little gathering with me and a few of the finest fans in the world. While I take my leave from my White House gig to mingle with you common folk. What's up, Al? Much love. Appreciate you always. He and is going to continue to be his pro report too. He has not changed at all. That is who he is, and either need to adopt to what it does exclusively, because I said earlier this season that they need to abandon the run and go to the spread. The run game has come back, but they need to run a combination of the spread and the run game, because the Derek Carr in this pro style offense it's not working. He needs to spread everybody out. He really doesn't like to turn his back to the field. In case nobody's noticed, I'm sure I've said this a few times, so I'll say it again. He likes to keep his eyes on the field at all times so that he doesn't have to lock into a wide receiver and get it out quickly without knowing where everybody is.
Absolutely. Let's see.
And that's the bottom line. Cause perro says so. For perro. You got anything else, Phil?
No.
Hold on real quick. So, rare treat for you guys. I actually haven't even told Phil this. We got Sunjoku on later tonight at 7:30 p.m. Western, 10:30 Eastern. So tune in tonight. We'll recap with Sunjoku. Guess we'll get Lance after the game.
Probably so, yeah.
We'll get Lance after the game. So you get 3 Unfiltered Truth shows today. You guys are in for a treat. Tell a friend, tell everybody. Phil?
Tell the whole world. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your granny,
and your
tell your sister,
the ugly
tell your baby brother. Tell anybody that's a Raider fan all around.
I'm Phil Robinson. He's Phil Jones. This is the Unfiltered Truth. It's game day, Raider Nation. Raiders! And we out.